少しおとなしくしていてください。
A protagonist getting his powers sealed away by someone or something is a sign that they are indeed just so overpowered as beings before. But even when they don't have their full potential, regardless, they are still at the top of their game. Today's video will be covering 10 anime where the overpowered protagonist has his powers sealed away. If you are new around here, then please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel with the notifications bell icon turned on to stay up to date with the latest anime news and recommendations right at your doorstep. Now, without keeping you all waiting, let us begin with the video. Kicking things off with a highly underrated series you guys most likely have not even heard of, and it's called Chronos Ruler, a series developed by Project Number 9 in 2017. I think it has its good and bad moments. I'm quite the big fan for, stories dealing with family, especially the tragic backstory ones, and I think that's one of the main reasons I was actually drawn to this anime in the first place. To be honest, I had really high expectations because I felt that the story had a lot of potential, especially after watching the first episode. It's got badass action, time-eating monsters, and also hype music during battle sequences. All of that combined together makes it sound like a pretty good series, but to be honest, the only downside is its overall story that was, well, mediocre at best. But if you are drawn into its action, which involves a lot of magic and gambling elements, then I'd highly advise to give this anime a shot. From the creator of the famous series known as Magi, she has now introduced us to a new fantasy role full of mystery in her new anime series called Orient. We're dropped into a world where the land is ruled by supernatural demons known more commonly as Oni, who are, you might have guessed it, demon rulers of the world who need to be stopped. Now, but the protagonist Musashi wishes to join and become a member of the Bushi tribe, warriors who defend and fight against the Oni to bring peace to the people, but many view them as the devils. Now, I personally really love samurai anime. Anything related to that, I will fully watch just to witness some samurai sword fighting action. That is definitely what I got. Musashi also has an issue where he can't really wield a Katetsu blade out of everyone who volunteered to become a Bushi, where things get a lot more interesting. Everyone should know by now that the glorious work that Kyoto Animation puts out, their beautiful art direction, their animation quality truly puts them among one of the best anime studios to this day. But does that mean they always produce good anime? Well, not entirely. But while Musaigen no Phantom may not be the greatest, you will still find a lot of enjoyment watching it. It is a story about a group of teenagers in a high school dealing with phantom problem creatures that come in all forms of different shapes and sizes due to imaginative perception. The major point, what many dislike about this anime, is that the show is mainly focusing on its festival of fan service and nothing more than a punch in the face to fans who thought they were actually expecting something good. It's quite unnecessary to have so much of it in an anime like this when it could have been so much more. Fighting sequences have really smooth animation, cool characters, and different powers. It's all fun. It's all pretty fun in my opinion. The protagonist Haruhiko may not be the strongest, and that's because his powers are actually sealed until the very end of the series. I always really enjoy introducing many of you to some Chinese anime, and one of them is Ling Yu, or the English title, Spirit Realm. Just to begin with, this is an anime about cultivation and romance, including multiple love interests. Sometimes Chinese animation series are quite harder to follow than Japanese anime, and that is true if you aren't really familiar with the Chinese mythology or its culture. It can be hard, but it's still pretty fun to learn about it through Chinese animation. The story is pretty fast-paced, with lots of action and epic moments of power awakening and hints of romantic affection between the protagonist and also the female characters. I think this is an anime that you will all most likely find a lot of quality aspects from.
2月18日，请大家期待《灵域》第二季，内容更。
The Warrior of Qin is a Chinese animation series from 2020 which is quite an interesting watch. Past and present, alchemistry and archaeology kits got so many interesting factors that can make you very eager to watch the series. This also gets a lot more and more funny as the cast grows in future episodes, with a lighthearted comedy with pretty clean and neat animation work. It's a very underrated but fun anime to watch. The Chinese animation industry is bi-daily. It's growing fast lately with you know, each season getting new ones, and some will be good and some others won't be as great, but to me, most likely nothing will surpass two of the biggest known Chinese animation series like The King's Avatar and also The Daily Life of the Immortal King. Now, if you want a whole series that primarily focuses on sealed power because the protagonist is too dangerous with it, then the Asterisk War is up your alley. The sister of the protagonist sealed away his powers due to reasons, thus he is now searching for her by becoming a transfer student for a magic academy. Produced by A1 Pictures in the year 2015, this studio has created plenty of great anime in the past and continue to do so. In the end, this is a harem-focused series. Tsundere girl loses to the worst ranker, she becomes his partner, and also falls in love with him. I mean, how generic could it get? Besides, it's actually a very enjoyable series. Twin Star Exorcists by Studio Period, a great shonen series that is quite underrated, with a total about 50 episodes of badass action, cool story of defeating monsters in another dimension, and also a romantic bonding relationship. I think the strongest thing about this series are their characters. The series heavily focuses a lot in the relationship of both the protagonists, Benyu and Rokuro, how in the beginning they hate each other to accept their flaws and praise their strengths. It is quite a slow-paced, series, hence why it is slightly long, but every episode just feels great to watch. Period are actually one of my favorite studios that I have done so many popular series, including one of the best shonen anime such as Black Clover. Dramatic, mysterious, and fun to watch. The story itself is really engaging, and I think the biggest part of Bungo Stray Dogs that I enjoyed the most was the show's well-delivered, strong, dramatic, and supernatural storyline. One of the biggest issues that I had, that I also noticed a few others had this problem, was the balance. Sometimes Stray Dogs was a comedy, then a drama, and then finally back to comedy. It shifts a lot into those, making it poorly balanced, but you kinda get used to it. Character growth and development is featured in the show, however, it's not really prominent, and that is why this anime has 3 seasons in total, with a 4th one coming soon, with plenty of content to enjoy from an anime like this from Studio Bones. Fire Force offers one of the more original takes on shonen. Instead of being about a kid who gets stronger in the world, you get a story about a world in which humans live in constant fear of suddenly exploding and turning into flame monsters. The fight scenes are one of the main selling points of the battle shonen, and they're done extremely well in this series. The story is about people with, pyrokinetics, gifted with the ability to manipulate and control their flames while remaining human. To combat the infernal threat and discover the cause, of course, Shinra, the protagonist, joins the Fire Force to take revenge on the flame monsters who killed his parents at a very young age, and he has a very rare ability called the Adola Burst that ignites his feet on fire to fight only using his legs, which is pretty badass if you ask me. His power goes a lot more in depth, and also we learn more about the characters, and that is where things get so much more interesting. Now, finally, to close off things in this list, I'm recommending to you all is Blood Lad, the story of a lazy vampire who is the ruler of the Eastern District who just wants to stay in his house, play video games all day, or even read manga. He is a ruler, but unfortunately, that doesn't really show for his, first impressions until he actually gets out of his house. Created by Studio Brains Base in the year 2013, this is actually one of their best work, as they have also done series such as My Romantic Teen Comedy and also To Your Eternity. A girl gets isekai to his world, and his life pretty much changes when he agreed to help her get back home, meaning he can finally leave his humble domain so we can witness the power of the legendary vampire Stas Charlie. Now, despite the series having a relevant plot, it's actually usually maintains more of a lighthearted and humorous atmosphere, since it's also comedy-based with lots of characters, rivalries, and also cool fight sequences with some references to other shows, making it overall a very entertaining series.
してもお前の目的は冬美の血を吸って殺すことだ。血を吸う気なら俺を殺すってことか。
Looks like you just made it to the end of the video and witnessed 10 anime where the overpowered protagonist has his powers sealed away. If I've managed to leave any anime out in particular that you thought would be a great addition on the list, then please let me know in the comment section down below, as I'd love to hear your very opinion, or just comment down below what you thought about the video in general, as I'd always appreciate the feedback. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one.